Hello students, welcome back to another lecture of atomic structure. In the last class we stopped at quantum numbers. We have seen three types of quantum numbers. First was principal quantum number, second was angular momentum quantum number, third was magnetic quantum number, and using the previous one you can determine the next quantum number, right? So therefore by using the principal quantum number you determined angular momentum and then magnetic. Therefore by using magnetic quantum number what we are left with is determining the spin quantum number. Magnetic quantum number was denoted by Mi and its value was starting from minus L to plus L, right? That was magnetic quantum number. Knowing magnetic quantum number you can determine the spin quantum number, or you can also say spin quantum number doesn't depend on the other quantum numbers. Every orbital, every subshell has many orbitals, and we determined in the yesterday's class that S subshell has only one orbital, P subshell has 3 orbitals, D subshell has 5 orbitals, right? Same way F subshell has 7 orbitals. What was the L value for S? 0. What was the L value for P? Minus 1, 0, plus 1. For D, minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2, right? So these were all the L values and magnetic quantum number values for subshells, and inside the subshells orbitals. This is S subshell, this is P subshell, and this is D subshell, right? So inside the S subshell only one orbital is there, inside the P subshell 3 orbital. What are the names of that 3 orbital is, if the orbital is oriented in x axis it is called as px orbital, if it is oriented in y axis it is called as py orbital, if it is oriented in z axis it is called as zpz orbital. Same way for d orbitals, that means in d subshell also there are 5 d orbitals. In which axis they are oriented, or are they oriented in between the axis or on the axis? You had 5 orbitals, and their names are: the first d orbital which is oriented in between x and y axis, or you can say in the plane of x and y axis. If this is x axis and this is y axis, it is neither on the x axis nor on the y axis. It is in between them in the form of a plane. Therefore you call it as dxy orbital. And the other d orbital is in between y axis and z axis. It is neither on the y axis nor on the z axis. It is in between y and z axis. And the next d orbital is xz, neither on the x nor on the z, in between x and z. The other 2 orbitals are on the axis, on x and y axis called as dx square minus y square, and on z axis called as dz square, right? So these are the orbitals present inside a subshell, right? So now when main shell is known to you, from the main shell subshells are known to you, from the subshell orbitals are known to you. What you have to do now is start filling the electrons inside the orbitals, and that orbital which is present inside, the electron which is present inside the orbital, when you give the shape of a lobe, which means the electrons is starting from this point, electron starts to spin or rotate or revolve in this direction continuously. Electron will not be stable at any point of time, right? So if the electron is continuously spinning in this area at the top, this area at the bottom, that means in which direction it is spinning is determined by spin quantum number. The direction of revolving of electron is called as spin quantum number. Spin quantum number determines in which direction are the electrons revolving, or in which direction are the electrons spinning. If the electrons are spinning in clockwise direction, that means you should indicate that electron by writing an upward arrow and by assigning plus half value for that particular electron. If the electron is spinning in anti-clockwise direction, you should indicate by writing downward arrow and by giving the value minus half. Upward arrow indicates clockwise spinning, downward arrow indicates anti-clockwise spinning. Upward electron, if the electron is upward, what is the spin of that electron? Plus half. If electron is downward, what is the spin of the electron? Minus half. Inside the orbital, 2 electrons are there. Can you add any more electron after giving 2 electron inside any orbital? No. Every orbital, whether it is in the S subshell or in the P subshell or in any other subshell, each orbital can accommodate a maximum of only 2 electrons, not more than that. If it is less than 2, it has the capacity to get that 2. But once you give 2, you cannot have more than that, right? So, inside the orbital, if upward spin is plus half, downward spin is minus half, what is the total spin quantum number of this orbital? 0. Total spin quantum number of this orbital is 0. Spin quantum number of only this is plus half, only this is minus half. If they ask you the spin quantum number of the first electron, you should say plus half. If they ask you the spin quantum number of second electron, you should say minus half. They can also ask you what is the spin quantum number of S orbital. What is it? 0, right? So, now this is what spin quantum number is. You know orbitals, you know electrons. Now, how to fill the electrons inside the orbitals? There are some set of rules which you have to follow, right? And that rules are, first is of Bau's principle, second is Hund's rule, and first is of Bau's principle, second is Hund's rule, and the third is Pauli's exclusion principle. Right? By following these 3 rules, you should fill the electrons inside the orbitals. Right? If you start giving the electrons inside the orbital, when electrons are filled inside the orbitals of atom, inside orbitals of atom, it is called as electronic configuration of that atom. Electronic configuration of that atom. Right? So, each and every atom, though they have so many electrons, but its electronic configuration will be different, because you are placing the electrons by having different values. Each and every electron has different values for different quantum number. Therefore, electronic configuration of for 2 atoms will not be the same, they may be different, right? By looking at the electronic configuration only, we can determine its chemical and physical properties. Therefore, electronic configuration of the atoms are very important. Now, let us look at the above said rules in filling of electrons or in giving electronic configuration, right? And this box model which we have taken is helping us to fill the electrons inside the box. Each box is 1 orbital. You can also write the orbitals by using electronic configuration or also by boxes by filling in the boxes, right? Suppose this is, what is the principal quantum number of this subshell? First one principal quantum number as it is in the first subshell, as it is in the first main shell, its principal quantum number is 1, right? Coming to the second subshell, has 2s2p, right? If you remember, first main shell has only one orbital, right? First main shell has only one, first principal quantum number has only one orbital, second principal quantum number has two subshells, 2s 2p, right? Third principal quantum number has 3s 3p 3d, right? Third main shell means 3 subshells, fourth main shell means 4s 4p 4d 4f, right? 4 subshells. These are the subshells and orbitals inside each main shell. So now what you have to do, you have to give electrons in each subshell and write its electronic configuration, right? So s orbital is this, s means this, p means this, same whenever you write s means this box, p means 3 box, d means 5, same. So now what you have to do, you have to start filling the electrons starting from the first. So whenever you start filling, that rule has to be applied. First rule was Aufbau's principle. Aufbau's principle states that whenever you start filling of electron in the orbital, ground energy orbitals should be filled first, then only you have to go to the higher energy orbitals. Ground energy means the one who are lower in energy, that means near to the nucleus. Who are near to the nucleus? First main shell is near to the nucleus, then comes second main shell, then comes third main shell, then comes fourth main shell, right? Whoever is less in energy, they should be filled first, then only go to the higher energies. That is Aufbau's principle. Ground energy orbitals should be filled first, followed by the higher energy orbitals. That is which principle? Aufbau's principle. So which orbital we should fill first? Any orbital in this? No, this orbital should be filled first. Now let us give one electron to this orbital. Second electron, where should I go? Where should I give? Can I give second electron here, here or anywhere? No. To know which second electron goes where, you have to know the second rule. What was that rule? Hund's rule, right? Pairing of electron, right? The same first rule only we have to apply. Ground energy is not filled first, right? So second electron also goes to this orbital only, because this is less in energy, this is more in energy. Ground is filled first, following Aufbau principle, 2 electrons should be going to 1s only. Third electron, where will it go? It should go to this orbital, right? After giving third electron, now where should I give the fourth electron? Can I give fourth electron here or in this? To know that, Hund's rule should be applied. Hund's rule states that after filling one orbital completely, then only we should go to the next orbital, and in the next orbital, in the same subshell, where should I add the next electron? Shall I add the next electron here or shall I add the next electron here? Hund's rule says, unless you give one electron each to any subshell inside the same subshell, is it from the same subshell only? These 3 boxes belongs to the same subshell of P, right? Without giving one electron to each orbital, you cannot do pairing of the orbitals. You cannot do, pairing of the electrons. Pairing of electrons cannot be done without giving one electron to each orbital of the same subshell. When I am talking about this subshell only, without giving one electron to the same subshell, I cannot do pairing. So the next electron should come here, the next electron should come. All the orbitals got one electron each. Now the next electron we can do pairing. The next electron pairing, Now lower energy is filled first, then go to the higher energy, 3s. Is it correct? No. Ground energy should be filled first, then only we should go to the higher energy, right? Next, what is the next rule? Pauli's exclusion principle. Pauli's exclusion see, till now I have accommodated how many electrons? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Till now I have accommodated 12 electrons. That means you can calculate the 4 quantum numbers for each and every electron. You select any electron from these 12 electrons and calculate what is the principal quantum number, magnetic, momentum, spin. You can calculate all the 4 quantum numbers for each and every electron of each and every atom. And Pauli's exclusion principle says that no 2 electrons of an atom can have all the 4 quantum numbers same. They might have NLMS of first electron, NLMS, right? Both of them has 4 quantum numbers. You can have this quantum number same, this and this same, this and this same, this and this same. But all the 4 quantum numbers of 2 electrons cannot be same. At least one quantum number will be different for any 2 electrons. All the 4 cannot be same. One quantum number will be same, 2 can be same, 3 can be same, but 4 cannot be same for any 2 electrons. Shall we verify that rule? Say, let us do that by picking any electrons from these 12 electrons. What I will do? I will take this electron and this. Are they 2 different electrons? Yes. So now, what is the principal quantum number of this top electron, upward electron? First main shell, first. What is the L value or angular momentum quantum number? It belongs to S subshell. That means L value for S subshell is 0. What is the magnetic quantum number? For S subshell, magnetic is also 0. What is the spin quantum number? Upward means plus half. These are the 4 quantum number for first electron or upward electron. Let us see downward electron, right? What is the spin principal quantum number? Even downward electron also belongs to first main shell, 1. Even downward electron also belongs to S subshell, 0. Even downward electron belongs to S orbital, 0. And that downward electron will have the spin of minus half. You can have 3 quantum numbers same, but all the 4 quantum numbers same is not possible. That rule is nothing but Pauli's exclusion principle. Not just these 2 electrons, you can also take any other electron as an example out of these 12. Shall I take upward electron of this S? Let us take upward electron of 3s orbital, right? From 3s upward I will take. 3s means they are present in the third main shell, is it? Therefore, what will be the principal quantum number? 3. 3s means it is present in the S subshell. S subshell will have 0 value. S subshell will have 0 m value, and S subshell upward arrow is having plus half value. You got this quantum number same, this quantum number same, this quantum number same, but one quantum number will come out to be different. You cannot have all the 4 quantum numbers same, right? These 2 electrons I have taken from S and S. Let me take a same upward electron, or for instance downward electron from P subshell. The last downward electron in the P subshell. P subshell is present in which main shell? Second main shell. Principal quantum number is 2, right? P subshell means for P subshell L value will be 1. For P subshell magnetic quantum numbers are minus 1, 0, plus 1. So, what is the magnetic quantum number of this orbital? Plus 1. Downward arrow means minus half is the spin value. How many quantum numbers are coming out to be correct? Not a single quantum number is coming out to be correct. That is possible. All 4 quantum numbers can be different. All 3 quantum numbers can be different. 2 quantum numbers can be different. Only 1 can be different. But all the 4 cannot be same. Right? So, that is Pauli's exclusion principle. Right? This is the quantum. These are the rules by following which you have to fill the electrons by following of Bow's principle, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity and Pauli's exclusion principle. By doing so, you have to follow each and every orbital and goes on filling the orbitals, right? And after filling the orbitals also, you will come across a point in which you will get confused as to where the electron should go next, even after following that 3 rules. Therefore, to overcome that confusion, you have to follow Moeller's diagram. By following the previous 3 rules also, you will come across a point in which we will have confusion as to where the electron should go next, right? Whether it should go in the 3rd main shell or it should go in the 4th main shell. Instead of following Bow principle and Pauli's exclusion principle also, a violation comes, and that violation can be overcome by following n plus L rule. If you know n value and L value, by adding n plus L value, whoever gets n plus L value more, the electron should go there. Whoever gets n plus L value less, the electron should not go there. Fill the orbital in which n plus L value is more, then go to the next orbital, right? That can be applied by Moeller's diagram. If n plus L value is same for 2 orbitals, by following n plus L rule, you can easily decide who has more value, there the electron should go, who has less value, there the electron should not go. If n plus L value for 2 such orbitals are same, then what you should do? You should see whose n value is more, they should be preferred, and whose n value is less, they should not be preferred. Okay. So now let us apply all the rules and first see. First the electron should go in 1s. Okay, I will fill the electron in 1s. Right. Next, all the ground energies are finished. Next, go to the 2s. Next, go to 2s. Right. After 2s, 2p. After 2s, this is how you should take. 1s. Let me take this way. Okay. These are the lines which you have to mark. Okay. Now, first orbital, who should get the electron? 1s. Okay. This is the direction of 1s. After 1s, where I should go? There. 2s. Okay. Then after 2s, second subshell is 2p. After 2p, 3s. Next, 3p. After 3p, what you should do actually? After finishing second main shell, you went for third main shell in which 3s, 3p is there. Next, you should actually go for 3d, because 3d is of third main shell and 4s is of fourth main shell. You cannot go for fourth main shell without finishing third. So, otherwise if you do, you will violate the rules. But after filling 3p, you cannot go for 3d, you have to instead go for 4s. Why? Because n plus L value for 4s and n plus L value for 3d you should see. 3d, what is the n plus L value? N is 3, d is 2. What is the value? 5. 4s, n is 4, s is 1. What is the n plus L value? 5. Right, their n plus L values are same, but their n values after, if n plus L value is coming out to be same, you should check whether n plus L value, where is it more? Is it more here or is it more here? It is coming out to be more for 4s. So, after 3p, don't go for 3d, rather go for 4s, and then 4s is finished, then go to the next starting line. 3d. Next 4p, next 5s. 5s is finished, then go for 4d, 5p, 6s. 6s is finished, 4f, 5d, 6p and 7s. After 7s, go for 5f, 6d and 7p. Right? These are the orders of electronic configuration of different orbitals. Let us write the increasing order of energy of all the orbitals. Lowest energy is 1s, then 2s, then 2p, then 3s, then after 3s, 3p, after 3p, 4s, after 4s, 3d, after 3d, 4p, after 4p, 5s, after 5s, 4d, after 4d, 5p, after 5p, 6s, after 6s, 4f, after 4f, 5d, after 5d, 6p, after 6p, 7s, after 7s, 5f, after 5f, 6d, after 6d, 7p. This is the order of increasing energies of electronic configuration made easy to be remembered by Euler's diagram. Okay? Please copy Euler's diagram and the order of increasing energies. On this side least energy, on that side highest energy. Okay? Thank you. Let us meet in the next class.